breaking barriers when impossible becomes impossible. Have you ever stood at the edge of your dreams, staring into the abyss of impossible, and wondered what lies on the other side? I have, we all have. But today I want to share with you the extraordinary journey of someone who didn't just wonder, she leaped. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Xenia King, known professionally as D. Xenia, a force of nature who has redefined what's possible for Black women in electronic music and beyond. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. As the 24th ranked female DJ globally, according to Jane Top, she shattered glass ceilings that many thought were bulletproof. Her work doesn't just entertain, it transforms spaces, challenges perceptions, and creates pathways where none existed before. And her journey carries lessons for every single one of us standing at the edge of our own impossible dreams. The word impossible is interesting, isn't it? Break it down. I'm possible. Sometimes all it takes is a tiny shift in perspective to transform our entire reality. When Xenia first entered the world of electronic music, the statistics weren't just discouraging, they were downright hostile. The industry's upper echelons have historically been a fortress guarded by privilege, connections, and yes, often gender and race. For a Black woman to break into the global top 100 female DJs, many would have said impossible. But here's what fascinates me about impossibility: it's rarely about capability, it's about belief. Zania didn't just believe she could succeed, she refused to accept that she couldn't. And that's the first breakthrough I want to share with you today. Impossibility crumbles in the face of unwavering belief. The first person you have to convince is yourself, Zania told me during our conversation. Because if you don't believe it's possible, why would anyone else? Think about that for a moment. How many dreams have you abandoned not because you lacked talent, resources, or opportunity, but because you lacked belief? How many times have you been your own first no? I see some nodding heads out there. We've all done it. We've all had that moment where we talked ourselves out of greatness before we even gave ourselves a chance to fail at it. But what if we stopped doing that? Zania's journey to becoming a globally recognized DJ didn't happen overnight. It wasn't magic or luck. It was persistent, deliberate action fueled by unshakable belief. She started with small local gigs, playing in venues where sometimes the equipment failed more often than it worked. She spent countless hours perfecting her craft behind the scenes when no one was watching. Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine showing up to a venue where you're already the odd one out. You're a woman in a male dominated space. You're Black in an industry that has historically favored white artists. The equipment is subpar, the crowd is skeptical. And still, you show up, you plug in, you play. Night after night, gig after gig, you refine your sound, your presence, your energy. That's not just dedication, that's defiance. And here's the beautiful part: she didn't just focus on technical mastery, she understood that breaking barriers requires more than skill, it requires presence, energy, the courage to take up space in rooms that weren't designed with you in mind. This brings me to the second breakthrough. Every challenge you face is fuel if you choose to see it that way. When Zania encountered resistance, and believe me, she encountered plenty, she didn't see it as a sign to retreat. She saw it as an opportunity to innovate, to get creative, to find another way. The roadblocks aren't there to stop you, she shared. They're there to stop people who don't want it badly enough. Let that sink in for a moment. What if the obstacles in your path aren't punishment, but qualification? What if they're not there to break you, but to reveal just how badly you want what's on the other side? In our soft girl era, yes, I said soft girl era, we're redefining what strength looks like. For too long, especially for Black women, strength has been equated with endurance, with suffering silently, with carrying impossible burdens without complaint. But true strength is knowing when to push and when to rest, when to fight and when to flow, when to stand firm and when to pivot. Xenia's strength wasn't just in her persistence, it was in her adaptability, her willingness to learn, to evolve, to transform obstacles into opportunities. And this isn't just true in music, it's true in every arena of life. Xenia's journey doesn't stop at her DJ career. As a thought leader with advanced degrees in new media, she's leveraged her academic training alongside authentic storytelling to build trust with audiences on topics ranging from entrepreneurship to wellness. When she encountered skepticism about digital entrepreneurship, another space where Black women are often underrepresented, she didn't retreat. She leaned on her education, her experience, and most importantly, her authentic voice to carve out a space where none existed before. Consider this: in the vast landscape of podcasting and digital content, standing out requires more than just technical knowledge. It demands vulnerability, authenticity, and a willingness to share your unique perspective. Zania didn't just study new media, she transformed it. She became a featured speaker on multiple podcasts, recognized as an authority in communication strategies for professionals of color. She didn't just claim a seat at the table, she built her own table and invited others to join. This brings me to the third breakthrough. Individual success means nothing if it doesn't lift others. Breaking the ceiling isn't enough, Zania told me. You have to build a ladder for others to climb up after you. In a world obsessed with individual achievement, this perspective is revolutionary. It reminds us that true success isn't measured by how high we climb, but by how many we bring with us. Zania's work extends beyond her own career. She's become a beacon for aspiring artists facing similar odds. She's used her platform to challenge stereotypes about who belongs on major stages. She encourages more Black professionals, and especially Black women, to use their voices boldly online. This is what it means to transform the impossible into I'm possible, not just for yourself, but for an entire community. And isn't that what we're all seeking? Not just personal triumph, but collective transformation? Not just to succeed despite the system, but to change the system itself? The beauty of Xenia's journey is that it reminds us that these aren't separate goals, they are interconnected. When we break barriers for ourselves, we create cracks in the ceiling that let light in for everyone. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about denying the very real challenges that exist, particularly for marginalized communities. The barriers Zania faced were real. The statistics weren't in her favor. The industry wasn't eagerly waiting to embrace her. But here's what makes her story so powerful. She acknowledged those realities without accepting them as limitations. There's a profound difference between recognizing obstacles and surrendering to them, between seeing the mountain and deciding it's too high to climb. What if we all approached our impossible dreams with that same clarity? With eyes wide open to the challenges, but hearts equally open to the possibilities. I want to share an actionable takeaway that Zania emphasized during our conversation. Challenge yourself daily, by setting one goal you believe is just beyond your reach. Then pursue it relentlessly until you achieve it or learn why you didn't yet succeed. The key part: document your progress, not just for yourself, but so others can see what's possible when limits are defied. This practice does two powerful things. First, it stretches your belief in what's possible. Each time you achieve something you thought was just beyond reach, your definition of impossible shifts. Second, it creates a roadmap for others. Your journey becomes proof that the path exists, even if it's not yet well traveled. In our soft girl era, we're learning that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it rests, sometimes it says no to make space for a bigger yes. Xenia's strength wasn't in never falling, it was in always rising. It wasn't in avoiding obstacles, but in transforming them into stepping stones. And that's available to all of us. That transformative power isn't reserved for the special few, it's our birthright as human beings. This ability to look at what is and imagine what could be. So I stand here today, not just to tell you a story, but to issue a challenge to examine the impossible dreams you've tucked away, the aspirations you've labeled someday or not for me, the visions you've dismissed as fantasy. I challenge you to resurrect one of those dreams today, to look at it with fresh eyes, to ask yourself, what if this is possible? What if I am the one to make it happen? I challenge you to take one step, just one, toward that impossible dream. Not next week, not tomorrow, today. Because the truth is, we don't transform the world through grand gestures. We transform it through daily acts of courage, through persistent belief, through refusing to accept the limitations others have placed on us. Xenia's journey from local DJ to global recognition, from student to thought leader, reminds us that the path to the impossible is paved with ordinary moments of extraordinary courage. So let today be the day you rename your impossible. Let today be the day you claim your I'm possible. Because when you do, when we all do, we don't just change our individual stories. We rewrite the collective narrative of what's possible for humanity. And there's nothing more powerful than that. Thank you